YouTube, we did it. We hit Masterball. We have done it. And this is the deck I did it with. Darkrai Giratina. Now, I know you've probably seen this deck before 100 times over Monday to Sunday, but the deck is the best deck in the game, in my opinion. We had a 12-game win streak with it in Ultra Ball 4. So the deck really just does really well at really controlling your opponent, and it's a high skill level deck. I'm going to go over the deck profile, and I'm going to thoroughly explain all the choices I played in the deck and why I did it. So first we have Giratina EX. So Giratina and Darkrai are pretty self-explanatory to why they're both in the deck. Giratina is just a monster, broken space bellow, allowing you to basically ramp it up every turn. And this card, in my opinion, is the best EX in the game. Just simply because if you see it turn 1, it's like essentially having Magnezone, although you give your opponent 2 points. But then you don't have to deal with the evolution and evolving it and everything like that. Just in the way that you can, ramp it up super easy and have an easy attacker. But then you, like I said before, you don't have to do all that stage 2s and stage 1 and drawing all the evolutions and stuff like that. So really good. Just an overall fantastic card. Next we have Darkrai EX. Darkrai is really good. Obviously, you're able to constantly chip damage your opponent. This Darkrai really could put a lot of pressure on your opponent, forcing them to waste things like Iridice to heal up their basics, forcing them to use potions in the mirror. If you see it early enough, it's just an overall fantastic card. And then once you get 3 energy on it, you can hit for essentially 80, but I call it 100 because when you put an energy on it, you deal 20, and then you hit for the 80. So like I said before, I'm going to repeat it one more time. If you want to treat Darkrai, the best way to remember it is think of Darkrai as always 100 damage. That's the best way to remember it, so that way you don't... Because the thing with this deck is you really have to think mathematically a lot, which is one of my strengths because if you don't know, I'm a meteorology major and I'm a calculus major. So, and because of that, I take a lot of high-level math. So, a deck that revolves around math is something that I enjoy. So, as well as like a chess match. So, for me, the best way, like I said, mathematically, is always think Darkrai as 100 damage. Next, we play 1 potion. Now, why only 1? Some people play 2. Yeah, you can play 2. I'm a big fan of 1, and you will see based on our tech choices that we have below. Again, you can't really go over 20 cards, so you're kind of limited in the space you have, but I'll explain why I went to 1, and not more than 1 in a second. But we run 2 Pokeball, obviously, for obvious reasons, because it's just consistency. 2 Giant Cape. Giant Cape is extremely valuable, simply because Giant Cape is way more important than Rocky Helmet, in my opinion. In the mirror match, they're not going to attack you early enough for Rocky Helmet to be that great. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still very good, because if you go up against something that, wants to poke at your Darkrai early on, something like a Carnivine, it could be useful, but you're only going to need to see one of it, and if you do see it, that's great. If you don't see it, it's not the end of the world. The other downside to why I don't like Rocky Helmet is there's also a lot of basics that don't do damage. So something like a Manaphy and something like a Sprigatito, they don't do damage, and they don't cause Rocky Helmet to trigger. So at that rate, you're not really getting any value off Rocky Helmet. Now let me talk about why Cape is so effective. If you Cape Giratina, it goes up to 170 HP, which is very important for numerous amounts of reasons. One is that you can survive a red, which is very important because one of the main ways for them to kill you is for them to Sabrina in your Giratina, have it kind of sit there, let them damage it, and then red it later on. But if you have it in there with a Giant Cape, it'll make it a lot easier to survive because, like I said, we still have that potion. As you will see later on, we do have a heal lady in the deck. So healing up that Giratina, keeping it in the active spot when they do Sabrina in is very important because that's one of the main ways to get rid of it, for them to get rid of you. We also have Leaf, so we can get rid of it and put it back on the bench, which in the mirror match. Like I said, all this is very, very important. Also, Giant Cape is very, very good on Darkrai because it forces them to need a red when they have Meowscarada. Otherwise, they're not going to one-shot you. But overall, Cape is just absolutely fantastic. And it's basically a plus 20 HP. So it's almost like a potion in itself. So it's just overall really, really good. And it can save you in a lot of matches. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is that how do I use this in the mirror matches? A lot of people ask how to use this effectively in the mirror match. Well, you want to play your Giant Cape early. And the reason why is I'm going to go over it in about a second when we go down below. Now, Rocky Helmet, I run one of. This card is really good against certain situations. You're never going to need multiple of it. I know a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say never. Once in a rare times it can come up in multiples. If you draw it early enough and you have the Darkrai and you have the Giratina and you're stacking them both and they Sabrina and you in, and then you put them in that situation with Sabrina isn't that great. But the reason why I don't like Rocky Helmet is because Rocky Helmet is something that will lose in the mirror and it will lose in the long run. So I don't like to play cards that lose in the mirror and lose in the long run, and I feel Cape is that much more important. So I keep it at 1, but you could definitely run 2 if you wanted to. I just feel like 1 is kind of my number that I like. 2 Professor's Research, I mean, this is kind of self-explanatory. Professor Oak draws you 2 cards. There's really no, there's really self-explanatory, really. You're not going to play, it's like in Yu-Gi-Oh! You wouldn't play Pot of Greed, which is the same thing, drawing you 2 cards. You're not going to not want to draw 2 cards and see the cards you want to see in this deck. So, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. One, Sabrina. Sabrina is just fantastic at really allowing us to stall the game at a certain point. You would never play 2 in this deck because you're never going to get to that point where 2 of them early game is going to be that effective for you. But Sabrina is good to stall out early game. Surprisingly enough, well, not surprisingly, but later on in the game, it can also be good in the mirror match because sometimes they will only have 2 on the bench. And then no, 1 on the bench and 1 in the active. So if they only have Giratina and Darkrai, you may opt to want to damage the Giratina. So let's say they have Giratina on the bench and they don't have a cape attached to it. You could Sabrina it in, hit it for 130, and then at that point, then they have to counteract you back, and then potentially, if not having a potion, lose their Giratina in the process. So that's something you want to do. Also, you could potentially even hit it for 150 damage without a red. And you're going to say, well, how am I going to do that? Essentially, the one benefit to playing... excuse me. One of the benefits of playing Giratina Darkrai is you get a red without Ascent, and Sabrina was essentially in the same turn without redding. Excuse me. How am I going to do that? Well, the answer is quite simple. Because you'll have 4 energy already on Giratina, which means that if you have Darkrai on the bench and you're going to attack with Giratina, you can put that energy on Darkrai on the bench. So very, very effective. You can stack the energy on Darkrai on the bench, and then you'll deal 20 alongside dealing the 30 with Giratina after you Sabrina or Cyrus them in. So this is a very advanced play. You need to know it, and that's advanced because you need to time your Giratina to be able to do that. But yes, having 4 energy on your Giratina, having that Darkrai on the bench, putting the 20 energy on that Darkrai, and then hitting them for the 130 essentially is redding them. And if you can use red, you could potentially for 170 at that point. So getting things in and attacking early is very, very important. But also knowing when to attack and timing that play out is very, very good. And that's when Sabrina has its best use. You're either using it early to slow them down so you can build up your Giratina or Darkrai, or you may use it later on to build up, for that big push and then kind of like take out their Giratina right out of nowhere. Because like I said, you really want to focus on taking out Giratina more than anything else because Giratina is their best attacker. Another thing with Sabrina that's very, very important is if you are able to, let's say, retreat in something on the bench like a Magikarp, if you bring that in early enough, or like a weak basic, you could start poking at it with Darkrai Burn, which is very, very effective. So if they have like a Manaphy and Magikarp, you could Sabrina in the Magikarp and hit it for 20 and then Cyrus it out later on again. If you have like a Sabrina and Cyrus early, and then bring that in and then kill the Magikarp before they can find Gyarados, which can really help you win that matchup. So that's just something you want to do. Also with Gyarados, it could be that's the one matchup where I'd say Rocky Helmet can be a fun, but so can Cape. Because Cape allows your Giratina to survive through a red, because the Gyarados will only deal 160, or Giratina will be 170. And that's again where Potion can come into fruition and doing all that. And yeah, and then allowing you to go back up to 30 and allowing that Giratina to attack without dying. So these are things you want to think about. Like I said, a lot of thinking when it comes down to this deck. Next we get into the more important things, more important tech choices that aren't as obvious. 2-leaf. Double leaf is very, very important, and for a lot of reasons. And a lot of people will say, well, I only run one, which is fine, but I feel double leaf wins a lot of games. Sometimes you'll get stuck with having Giratina, and Darkrai, but double leaf allows you to essentially make your Giratina in the active spot a tank, which could be very, very good because you never really, and then you can ramp up the back one. And the reason why, you may say, well, why do I want to do that? Well, the reason why is because you do never really want to be attacking with a weakened Giratina. But if you have Leaf, now they may not expect it, and you can retreat out the Leaf and then start attacking. Most of the time, they will expect Leaf because Leaf is pretty common. So Leaf is something to be expected, but still very effective to build it up in the active spot. I mean, not in the active spot, to build it up on the bench, along with your other Darkrai, and it allows your Giratina to kind of get out of dodge. Very, very good at doing that. And that's why I'm a big fan of Leaf. Also, I'm a big fan of Leaf because if they start attacking early, or you want to attack with let's say you want to attack with Giratina. This is a better example. Let's say you want to attack with Giratina on the bench and you have Darkrai there. Well, you don't really want to manually retreat your Darkrai and set yourself back more turns to attack with the Giratina. Rather than, you can leaf out the Darkrai and then bring in the Giratina and then start attacking with it. And then again, like I said before, if you have 4 energy on that Giratina already, then you can attach to the Darkrai and potentially deal 150. And again, like I said, get a free red. So Darkrai kind of cheats a free red and using almost like 2 supporters in the same turn, which is extremely good. Because essentially you are cheating without cheating. So very, 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 very good. The other thing I will bring up is just having that free retreat cost is just invaluable, in my opinion. Okay, going over a few more of the tech choices here. Cyrus is, for obvious reasons, it's just really, really effective. Cyrusing out a Pokemon. Obviously, with you Darkrai, and they're going to fleet things back to the bench. Cyrusing out later for a kill is just invaluable. Next, we play Double Mars. Now, I think Mars, personally, is right there competing with the best traders in the game. I think it's right there with Cyrus. I think it's right there with Sabrina, and right there, and I think Leaf is up there as well. And you may say, well, why do you think Mars is that good? Well, Mars does a lot of things. It's like Red Card, but it's better. So, essentially, if you're, if you don't know what Mars does, you make your opponent draw the amount of cards needed for them to win as points or prize cards to win the game. So if let's say you only have, your Giratina or Darkrai or any of your EXs taken out, they get 2 points. But then they shuffle their hand. Now because they have 2 points, you make them shuffle their hand and they only draw for the remaining points they need to win the game. So they only need 1 because 2 plus 1 is 3. So now they draw 1 card, and then you kind of screw them at that point. Because all their plan to kill you late game is now in the toilet, and now they have to play it slowly if they didn't account for it. Now, Mars, as you get up into Master Ball, people will more account for it, because they're going to be more aware of it. As you climb it through Ultra Ball, not everybody's going to be aware of it, and they're going to lose to it. And some people do not expect the double Mars. If they're not heavily paying attention to meta, they're not going to expect the double Mars, and it's going to ruin them. Another good area Mars is really good in is to act as a red card without being a red card. So, for example, Mars can act as a red card against, Sprigatito. So, if you go up against Meowscarada, which is the deck's hardest counter, and they attack you twice with Sprigatits, and then they have, 7 cards in their hand, then you can Mars them, drop them down to 3, and you might mess up their evolution. It's also extremely strong in the mirror, because let's say they double research you. Sometimes in the mirror match, you'll find that they have 7 cards in their hand, and then you say, oh, Crumb, they already got a Leaf set up, and let's say that they have 7 cards in their hand, they have Giratina in the active, Darkrai in the bench, another Giratina. you Mars them, you get rid of potentially their leaf when they want to attack, and then they may not be able to attack, and they may be stuck for 2 more turns. Or a turn, and then you essentially not only got rid of so many cards in their hand, but you might have skipped a turn and you allowed yourself to get ahead by attacking with that Giratina. So invaluable. I would not play less than 2 Mars. It's just really that good. If you can read your opponent's hand, this card is really, really good. Almost borderline unfair. And yeah, this is really, really good to set your opponent back. 1 Pokemon Setter Lady. This card is just really good at like healing for 30 and getting rid of special conditions. Although special conditions aren't really that prevalent in the meta, it's good to have. This can also be good to have against like something like Kakuna, because if they start attacking with Kakuna, you can heal Center Lady up that your Darkrai and then be able to attack with it, so that way they can't like stall endless turns on that, because that can get really annoying if they keep paralyzing you over and over again. That's the most relevant special condition I think that's relevant right now. Clodsire is somewhat relevant, but it's not that much relevant. But it's good to know because you can get rid of poison as well. 1 red. Red is just obviously fantastic because it one-shots your opponent out of nowhere. Again, if you time it right, you can even hit for up to 170 damage on an EX in this deck, and they don't expect that. They think they're safe. And then right out of nowhere, they get 1 shot. And pretty much 170 is the ceiling for most decks. Nobody can really hit over 170 consistently, except unless you're Charizard. So, you know, most people think they're safe, especially when you go up against like Giratina Darkrai around that 170 mark, but then they're not paying attention. Then they're like, oh yeah, he can manually retreat the Darkrai. Then he attaches an energy to, then he has 4 energy on Giratina. Then he attaches the Darkrai. And then in comes the Giratina, the Darkrai hits for 20, then you red, and then suddenly you're at 170. And then they just get 1 shot. And then if they've committed everything into that cape, then, you know, they're kind of ding-donged at that point. Okay, so now we are going to go on to the gameplay. So I'm going to do about 3 games in non-ranked mode. I want to kind of hang in Masterball for now. Don't know if I want to climb through rated yet, but we'll do some 3 games in non-ranked. And yeah, I'll give you an overview about how I play the deck, and you'll see my thought process. He had a significant advantage because he's going to see his Giratina first, which is really bad for us. We're going to need to see Giratina soon enough if we want to win. Okay, so he is committing the Giant Cape to the Mewtwo. Now we can Sabrina in. He's gonna be interesting to see who Sabrina's. Okay, I do want to research here. Yeah, because I need to see my Giratina. More important than anything else if we're gonna have a chance. Okay, that might find it. Okay, there it is. Alright, we will attach the Rocky Helmet in case he wants to attack a Darkrai. This is one of these matches where I really wish I had an extra Giratina. Because then I could send one out as a tank in this situation to tank Mewtwo's hits, but unfortunately we do not. Alright, so if he attacks me, we go down to 90. He'll go down to 130. And then if we attach another energy, he'll go down to 110. Keep in mind, we do super effective damage. And always keep in mind, Dawn could be an issue here. So you got to be really apparent to that. Dawn kind of screws us here. I'm thinking whether I have to Sabrina him in now. Because I want to get rid of Mew, but I'm deadly afraid of Dawn. Unless I Mars him. I could Mars him here. How many cards does he have in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to see 4. But it could fuck him up if he has Dawn. I could leaf into the... Well, I have double leaf. I could also leaf into the second Giratina. I think leafing in the second Giratina is probably safer here. Well, I don't have a second Giratina. I have a second Darkrai. You'd have to Dawn and one-shot that Darkrai, which I think I'd rather him do, because we have the double leaf. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna take this approach instead. And I'm gonna build this Darkrai up on the bench. He can't Cyrus and Dawn in the same turn. And I'm just gonna use this one as kind of a semi-tank. Again, this double leaf allows you to do this play. Because this can allow his Mewtwo to be one-shot turns later. Which you gotta really be thinking about, how am I gonna approach this turns later? Because the reason why you may say, oh, but Mewtwo can't one-shot you. If he has Dawn, he can. And you have to be very apparent to Dawn. He's stacking everything on Mewtwo. So if he has Dawn, he can. And I kind of want to make him want to attack me. Because if he wants to attack and get aggressive with the Mew, it's good for us. Because then he can't stack energy on that Giratina. So this is quite good. And if he does decide to stack energy on that Giratina, then we can... Then what we can do is we can lead that Mewtwo and take it out. Okay, so he's not going to expect the second leaf. And this is where he's going to be in trouble because we can one-shot that for 120. And then while he builds energy on that Giratina, we can build up our second Giratina here. So you got to think of everything here. Alright, so now we can one-shot the Mewtwo before he gets 4 energy on it. Calculated that all out. Perfect. Now he has nothing built on Giratina, and he's kind of he's in real big trouble here. Okay, so he capes up the Giratina. He will get 3 energy. He will be able to attack next turn. The Rocky Helmet could be... Okay, so he's going to Cyrus this in. It's kind of annoying. But we do have a Sabrina. Sabrina could be really good too. Because he's going to be forced to leave if he wants to do anything. We will Sabrina him in. I see a reason for us really not to at this point. And we'll start putting on the active Darkrai, because we already have 3 on the back. And then we'll Broken Space Bella. Now he's going to have to leaf here if he wants to get it. He's going to want to get aggressive with that Giratina. Okay. So that'll bring him down to 150, and then we can one-shot it if he attacks our Darkrai. So yeah, if he attacks Darkrai here, he'll go down to 150, and then we'll bring in the Giratina, attach the energy to it, and then red. Excuse me. Still getting over that last remainder of the cough, so the cough kind of sticks for like 2 weeks. So just forgive me, my voice is a little bit raspy. And I have that cough. Alright, now we have the red and we win the game. Very nice. Very nice. Like I said, we kind of gamed into everything out. And he's kind of cooked now. Once he sees that red, he's probably going to leave. GG. Okay. Oh, this is... Okay. This is where I'm glad we have Leaf in this matchup. Okay, hopefully we see a Darkrai here. Otherwise, we're kind of a bit behind. This is the one random matchup where it's like... I don't mind if he's Sabrina's here. That's another reason why you want Double Leaf as well. I didn't really bring that up, but... it's a Sabrina Double Leaf is really good because Sabrina is something common that they're going to do against Darkrai Giratina, and having that Leaf to kind of nullify Sabrina if you have something like Dead on the bench is really good as well. This is like the one random matchup where I want the Rocky Helmet. This isn't as common. And he does do super effective, which is really annoying for us. We're going to have to leaf here. We have really no choice. Because if I don't leaf, he's going to put Giratina into a spot that I'm really not comfortable with. Also, it kind of makes, what kind of makes it annoying for him, I'm forced to kind of build up here anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cape here because if he Sabrina's in and plays Weavile and then Darkrai, he's gonna one-shot the Giratina if he Sabrina's it in. So we're gonna double cape here. We're kind of committed at this point. Okay, does he have the evolution? He may or may not. There's also a chance he may not have Darkrai early on. And if that's the case, he won't be able to damage the Darkrai in the active. Sabrina. Okay. He doesn't have Darkrai. He's gonna have to find Darkrai pretty quick. I might be willing to surrender the Giratina here. Well, yeah, because I might have to register Darkrai as the primary attacker. I could retreat out Giratina and force him, but then, I mean, he'd have to, no, because then at that point I'm gonna have no energy on it anyway, and it'd be too late to build up another one. Yeah, we're just gonna stack and we're gonna allow him to take the Giratina here. Might as well. You definitely want to do this anyway, because you may say, oh, he's gonna just take it out. Well, yeah, but if you don't stack, then he could be enticed to Sabrina something again. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Little bit late there, Rocky Balboa. Okay. Oh, that's actually a little bit annoying because he gets the free damage now. But the difference is he'll only be able to hit us for 30 with that Darkrai, and we can kind of cancel it back out with the Heal Center Lady. If he doesn't have any amount of potions, he's not going to heal up that Weavile. Okay. Pokeball. We'll just thin out, get the last Darkrai out of the deck. Which is okay. Now, the bad thing for him is his Darkrai will not be able to attack this turn. Which will lead to him getting us getting a free shot. Which is not good for him. Rocky Helmet's not going to really do anything for us right now. Because he won't be able to attack with Darkrai anyway. So, us Rocky Helmeting now. I don't want to give him any necessary information when we have like 3 cards in the hand. And also, keeping a decent hand size is good too, just in case like you get Iono. Like, this is a stage 1 deck, so Iono could be pretty common in like decks like this. It does top deck the research. And really no... Oh, that's kind of annoying. Be nice for us to see a potion here. We could still build up a back Darkrai, but... Or Sabrina would have been... Well, then Sabrina wouldn't have been that good, honestly. Alright, so we're gonna Rocky Helmet this... Well, we can't Rocky because we already caped. We'll Rocky the back one, I guess. Unless I bring this Giratina... No, Darkrai. I don't want to put this Giratina on there. It'd be too slow to get it out. Well, Dark Prism... And now we basically force him to have the Weavile or he's going to be cooked. Oh, actually, he can't one-shot us with Weavile. We have the Cyrus, yeah, so we should win anyway. He can deal 90 damage combined with the Weavile. Well, wait, actually. Yeah, no, he can't kill us. He brings in the Weavile. It's... Ah, he has the red. Yeah, now we die. Yeah. Yeah, nothing we can do there. You just kind of had everything. Yeah, the only way... also, when you go second, this is very important. You want to throw down the Darkrai and the Giratina. The reason why is that you don't want to get randomly Marsed and then you lose your entire hand. If you lose your entire hand and you get Ding Dong, it's gonna suck. So don't want to lose that Giratina, and you don't want to lose that Mars. You don't want to get Mars and lose your Giratina. So yeah. So make sure you put both down. I know you may say, "Oh, he plays in the Sabrina." Ooh, okay, he's playing. I like it. I like his deck idea. Wait a minute. I wonder if you got this from Steven. Oh, never mind. I don't think Steven. Steven doesn't play the Regigigas with this. It's more focused on healing. Okay. We will ball now, because we don't... you typically here, you would want to... Generally, you want to research in the ball if you don't have both, because you got to prioritize seeing Giratina first. And research gives you the highest shot of seeing more basics. But in this case, we can do it differently. Okay, good. I wanted to see another leaf. The only thing I was thinking about there is whether I wanted to Mars him to try to deny him Jigglypuff, but that's very risky. Yeah, Wigglytuff can be quite annoying for us here because he can heal for 20. Yeah, he'll lease out. Okay. That could mean a sign that he doesn't have the Wigglytuff. So maybe in that case because he would want to heal up the Giratina if he had it. Hey, he really does not want me hitting that Giratina. Now, Regigigas has a sharp-ass retreat cost. So, we're going to be able to attack it way before it's able to start attacking. He can build up that Mars on the bench, but we can build as well. We got to be careful here, because we don't want to entice him to Mars us. So, as enticing as it might be, well, how many cards do I have in the deck? I have 10 cards. I have 2 capes. I want to try to draw on the capes. The only reason why I don't really... Okay. And I want to cape immediately. I want to cape the Giratina on the back. And then I'm going to power up the Darkrai and power up the Giratina. The reason why is because I always want that Giratina caped on the back. He's not going to be able to attack with Regigigas anytime soon. It can deal massive damage unless he is Dawn. We got to be very wary of Dawn. Okay, so he does have that. The Wigglytuff now. Okay. Dawn could allow him to attack next turn, so we got to be quite aware of this. Pokeball. Honestly, I'm thinking about Marsing him here. Because if I Mars him now, potentially could throw off a potential Dawn. If he's trying to hold a Dawn here. Now, I gotta be very... actually... Well, the problem is if I don't attack, he'll... this is quite a conundrum. Because if I don't attack, then he's going to be able to... No! I think we do attack here. I think we do attack, honestly. Because otherwise he's going to heal potion up. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, we run double leaf for this reason. Yeah, actually, okay. Interesting. I wonder what... Well, the thing is I can't Sabrina and Leaf in the same turn. I build up Giratina first. Regigigas cannot attack next turn, so that's good. Unless he has Dawn. So maybe I just pass and build up Giratina right now. I think I'm gonna, in that case, I'm gonna stick the energy on Giratina. Make him think I don't have a leaf. He might think here I don't have a leaf, and he might think he's safe. That's what I'm trying to get him to think. If I'm willing to do this. So that way I'm open to leafing on the next turn. Okay. That's what I expected. Now, I'd love to top deck into a cape right now. I would love to top deck into a cape. Okay. He can't one-shot this, which is also good for us. Okay, we did not top deck into a said cape. But now, this is why I said he may not think we have the leaf. And because he dawned, he's slower on Giratina, and we're going to start to push. We're going to start to push. Excuse me. Alright. I'm going to Pokeball. Try to get us a second Darkrai online. Again, we have another leaf, so we're not really afraid to do anything. No point in potioning up the other Giratina, because this is going to be vulnerable to Cyrus anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And we one-shot the weakling! Get that weakling KB out of here! What now, weakling KB? I hope you get Cyrus every turn, weakling Sean B. Right, now he's forced to bring in the Wigglytuff. Okay. Alright, so now he can one-shot with the Cyrus, which is fine. I mean, I guess he could have did that. Maybe we should have potioned at that point, but... Yeah, I might actually rather him take the 2 points at that point. Problem is, I could try to rip the red out of his hand. Hopefully I top deck into Cape. Cape would be really efficient right now. No Cape. Okay, well, Giratina cannot attack next turn because he did that. Yeah, so we're still in a good spot. Yeah, I ripped this red. Yeah, we're still in the winning spot there. Yeah, so in theory, we probably should have caped up Darkrai instead of Giratina, but that's it, assuming like 7 turns later. But we were still in a really good winning spot regardless there. So yeah, and we should have potioned. I think in that case, I would have potioned the Darkrai in the back. But even still, it still paid off because then at that point he was so aggressive to kill that Giratina anyway that we were still in the winning spot regardless there. Because then we forced him to put the energy on Wigglytuff, bring it in to Cyrus in, and then gently slap my Giratina. So yeah, we were still in the winning spot no matter what we did there. So yeah, that's my video. If you want to see me do my second account, make sure you like, comment, sub to my YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna be having some more fun. We're gonna be perhaps making a second account, more Pokemon streams incoming. Maybe some Masterball gameplay. Maybe we do a tournament run on stream. Also, what I would like to do is I'd like to open up a room for everyone to first me in now since we hit Masterball. Maybe we'll play some fun decks and casual now because now we just kind of hit Masterball and we can do that and just have a chill stream where it's not super grindy. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Peace. Bye, YouTube.